Okay, I am Deanna. I'm a member of the Arcasaur TTRPG group, and I've got with me my DM and a fellow player, Kudo and Garnet Sky, and we're just going to be talking about recent happenings in the TTRPG world and other stuff TTRPG adjacent, maybe shouting out some creators that I happen to like, or if anyone else does. Okay, so I guess first topic is the recent Hasbro debacle. Any thoughts,
Oh, it
guys?
is a
Yeah.
debacle now.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a debacle.
Oh,
I haven't been
It's a
able to keep
PR
up with it.
dumpster fire.
it's not just a debacle. It's literally like you know the Titanic, how they say that was like the most horrible like shipwreck in existence. I think this one is basically if the Titanic was full of tannerite. Like it didn't just sink; it blew up, caught fire, and
And
then sunk. And then somehow after it sunk, got sucked into a void.
or
I mean, it's
kind of like the Hindenburg disaster. They thought it was great, right? Until it got struck by lightning and
Yeah,
kind of
let's
exploded all
fill
the
a
hydrogen.
giant balloon with extremely flammable gas.
Oh
What
no,
could go wrong?
the problem with the Hindenburg wasn't the hydrogen. The problem was the aluminum oxide paint.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
yeah. When you paint your blimp in a compound that basically can burn through, and I mean literally burn through titanium, and then fill it with like one of the most flammable gases because you know at that point in time Germany wasn't allowed to use helium. Yeah, you end up getting this combination that just goes up quite beautifully. I mean, I'm not saying the Hindenburg was beautiful, but I'm saying like just the compounds there. If you go to ignite them, they just ignite so well.
And I'm just thinking, in a controlled environment, it might be an interesting experiment, but you're going to build this on a massive scale and then put it outside.
Yeah,
Thousands of different variables onto this aircraft, and I just I just can't wrap my brain around that being a plausible, acceptable idea to do.
Those that have been following it closely, if I remember from you telling me, Deanna, is that they've gone on ahead and said, you know what, never mind. We're going to continue with the original OGL for what was it 5.1 and back, so you don't have to worry about any back pay. Blah 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 blah. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm just
OGL
waiting for
one.
the other shoe. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop after this whole thing gets memory hold. Like I know this is going to happen, not because I have any inside knowledge, just I know how some of these companies work.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Their statement was that you know, they had this whole. They kept saying that the 1.1 leak was of a draft, but drafts don't come with NDAs and a signature line. And one of those content creators they sent this proposed really not open gaming license to decided to tell somebody. Story broke. It exploded all over the Twitterverse, then exploded into YouTube, then exploded onto NPR and CNBC. And, one of the original, at least two of the original drafters of 10A are like, no, this was not our intent. You can't revoke it. You people are crazy. Uh, and 15,000 people were managed to respond to the survey for 1.2, the actual draft, which was still terrible because it gave no legal consideration to third-party creators, which means it's not a legal document that can stand in court.
I mean, it's just like a little while ago, PayPal had this one document leak that was their new upcoming terms of service, and it said that if we find that anything that we perceive as bad, then you are going to have to pay a what was it $2,500 or $25,000 penalty through your PayPal account. And just basically take the money out of your account. And everybody was like, "What the crap?" And it had already been like finalized and everything. And then they're like, "Oh no! That was just that was an internal document. That was a leak." And it's like, no, you literally were rolling it out that day, and people started going, "What the crap?" and started pulling their PayPal stuff. I actually know a lot of creators, myself, that switched from PayPal that day to a different monetary service, and PayPal like lost a lot of money. I mean, like a lot of money. And then they were like, "Oh no! That's not what we were doing. That was just an idea. Yeah, it was just an idea. Yeah, well, it's the same thing with this. Is they're basically saying, "Oh no! It was just an idea. It's not really happening." And they're just going to wait until it gets memory hold, as I said. And then when people forget about it, they'll just silently launch their new OGL and expect everybody to understand that it's already up. And then the next thing you'll see is lawsuits and demanding of money, shutdown of smaller organizations, kind of like ours, so on and so forth. So I'm not even going to give, me personally, I'm not even going to give Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast like an inch.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people that do feel that way.
And I mean, Garnet has brought it up with me, and she can say it in her own words, but Garnet has brought it up with me that, phone conversations and whatnot, that, this is it's not just a thing of, oh, well, this is a small enclosed thing that we have control over. It's spanning back like literal generations of people. It's since its inception, people have made things for this game.
Oh yeah.
And yet you're going to say, well, we own all the rights in perpetuity, even to your own work. And then on top of that, if you have made X amount of money ever, then you owe us back pay.
Yeah, that was my biggest frustration with this. I'm not really looking at it as their views of the money and securing their bank accounts for the future. This is a living, breathing thing.
Oh yeah.
We have all contributed in some way, whether it's the creation of a monster or an interesting new way to use an older weapon, whatever it is. This then fuels ideas for the future. I have pushed so hard, especially being an ex-teacher, that you have to have this imagination. You have to have this excitement in your visions, in your dreams, to produce a future for mankind. You know, we can't have new interesting buildings without a kid who loved playing with Legos. We can't have you know, this amazing zoologist who, you know, has discovered new patterns in speech of an animal if we never had a kid who loved going to the zoo. The our societies, no matter what country you're in, everyday things started with the spark of an imagination. And that's where this game came from. It was an imagination. It was a fun way to spend the afternoon with your friends. And typically it wasn't just the afternoon. I remember when I was, you know, 19 years old and, you know, trying to get together a group, we actually met at a coffee shop because there was no way to do this online. There was no way to do this through our phones and our computers. So we had to literally all communicate of what day and time we might be available to meet at a coffee shop to play this game. We made sure that we put our lives on hold so that we could get to a location. And then once at that location, it was anywhere from 6 to 12 hours. And the coffee shop place that we went to actually really liked us because we bought a lot of food and a lot of coffee, and they let us stay there because it was a place to be. And it turned out that multiple groups of friends were meeting multiple times a week. And so it was keeping this little coffee shop afloat because we all came together to play this game. And so our actions interact with other people's lives. And it really hurt me emotionally that this thing has been around longer than I have. This thing has
Yeah.
been around longer than probably our parents. And we've all played it. We've all, you know, added to its world, its universe. And you know, these people are just going to walk in and say, oh, I own it. I own it from the beginning of time and I own it till the end of time. And you're going to pay me back pay and you're going to pay me future installments of anything that you could ever do with it. And I own everything that you just created. And I'm thinking, one, this isn't plausible. This isn't plausible. This game is played all over the world, in every language, in every living room or coffee shop or, you know, best friend's garage. This is all over the planet. I've never made a penny at anything D&D. I've drawn out things that people wanted to use. I've drawn out things that people were like, yeah, can I have that to, you know, express to my group what the tattoo down the side of his face would be, you know, and I've enjoyed coming up with the art side of some things of my friends or family members to then use in their campaigns, in their characters. But I've never made a single penny. But does that mean that my friend or my family member is going to get in trouble because of something I created 22 years ago? And then they're going to come after me? And then the other one was, it makes me get, it's not quite anger. It's more of disappointment and pain that this group of friends, you know, ages ago sat around and came up with a way to to escape the outside world. No politics, no rules and regulations, just, no wars that are going on, no political BS that's happening, just a way to hang out with friends and have a way to relax and recharge from the real horrible world that's out there.
Yeah, for a lot of us,
And
it's kind of a hard reset.
this group of people who've managed to make a very, very good amount of money on it, coming up with their own things to add and publishings and stuff. And then, I don't know, all I can think of is, Hasbro to me was always my son's childhood. Spider-Mans and Batmans and, having these adventures, in his own imagination in his bedroom. And this trusted family friend is going to come up and tell me that they're going to take this amazing, intricate universe, chop it up, and whatever they can't sell or bully people into giving them, they're going to set it on fire and then force us all to watch its death. That's what hurt me so bad. We've all contributed to this, but these men, I know they've passed away by now. I don't think any of them are left. But this wonderful fun time that they created in a friend's garage, and these assholes are just gonna chop it up, murder it, and then set it on fire and then laugh at us for caring? No, that is not okay. That is not okay.
And the funny thing is, when
Sorry.
it's okay. The funny thing is when you and I were talking about um, different stuff, and your son got on the phone and he was like, oh, so who's doing this? No, who's changing all this crap? This is stupid. And I said Hasbro, and the first words out of his mouth is freaking Hasbro. I knew it.
Yeah, because
he's not even up. He wasn't even up to date at that point. The second I said Hasbro, he just immediately like snapped. Oh yeah, Hasbro. Duh.
Yeah, because most of Hasbro's Twitter feed is complaints about dwindling product quality. I think what they
they've completely gone downhill.
Yeah, I'm thinking
they've completely gone downhill.
I'm pretty sure you can go to the dollar store, like literally any dollar store, and you'll probably find a better quality product in the children's toy aisle now than you would through Hasbro Direct.
I won't give a whole lot of details, but they need to have this time for imagination. They need to have time for play. It builds their brains, and for a good while there, my son was leaning towards robotics. He wanted to build functioning robotic limbs for amputees. That's what he was striving for a while. And one of his ways of expressing that imagination and that growth in his brain was the figures, taking them apart, seeing how joints could be improved to have more range of motion of an actual arm. I've watched this boy, and he's cut himself quite badly a couple times. Yeah. One time so bad he passed out.
Yep.
I had blood all over my kitchen floor. What were you doing? Well, I was shaving the side of a Lego to make an elbow joint. And he sliced up his thumb really bad. But that's where his imagination was taking him. That's where his brain was finding pathways to get excited about. This is a toy, but taking it apart and putting it, in different positions using modified parts could make this Spider-Man look real. And that was one of his favorite things, was taking pictures of them when he was done. This latest one he got, he ordered it because he couldn't find it. Everywhere we had gone, every place he had looked at, and he actually had pre-ordered it on 3 different sites so that at bare minimum he could get one. He finally got his hands on it and opened it, and he just cried because his Spider-Man was orange. And so he's now kind of sworn off. I'm not ordering anything from them anymore. And then talking to other creators about their orders, and multiples messaging him back of paint or color, or even limbs were missing.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of
How do
posts
you
about
order
that.
a Spider-Man who has 2 left arms? Who's watching this stuff go into a box?
No one. I'm pretty
Apparently,
sure it's no one.
And so I'm like,
or at least
I
no
mean,
one that cares. Because why
I'm
should they
pretty
care when
sure,
their jobs aren't secure?
I
No,
guess, but it.
at least with I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but at least with our company, we do have QC. So
Well,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
our Arcasaur tabletop, I tried to make sure that we have good QC. We don't have a lot of
Oh, and
products yet.
we even have outside sources. We let look at them.
Yep.
Take it out of the box, play it, let's see how it works.
But
But
we
really,
that's one of my nag points on several different companies. It's like, how did this even pass quality control? It's like,
yeah.
how?
How did it even leave the building like this? And him being an adult, and he has his own money, and he can do whatever he wants. But then I feel bad because he spent the shipping, he waited all that time, he spent the money on this, and then it arrives and it's messed up. I
yeah.
would be livid. I would be absolutely livid.
Yeah,
If I paid that much money, I mean, he's got a couple figures. we we were actually um doing something to reorganize because he needs more space to put more figures. And he decided that he has an entire shelf that's actually worth about $3,000. The dude is serious about these things. And he works really hard for his money, and he spends that kind of money, and it comes in botched and messed up. And so, and this is recent. I mean, we've gone, what, 19 years, with my son buying and enjoying these toys, and this is recent. This is recent. Something has happened internally with them. This is recent.
yeah.
They were never this bad. So I don't know if it's them trying to recoup their losses because something's messed up in-house.
Right now, I think it's them trying to justify their upper exec pay, because according to what someone posted on Twitter, the current CEO of Wizards of the Coast, her annual salary is somewhere north of let's see, 200 times the median for the entire state of Rhode Island.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Her salary is more than what Wizards of the Coast is producing in revenue.
Well, that sounds
So
like
her
it.
brilliant idea was to tank this and get everybody so pissed off.
No, that was someone who's reporting to her because he thinks that tabletop gamers are the same as video gamers. Though
No.
most of us play
No.
video games,
Yes.
it is totally not the same experience.
It is not the same thing. When you buy a game, it is contained. It is this one
Yeah, it's
realm,
generally
this
a single
one
player experience.
character. And so I play it, I tell you about it, you go out and buy that game. D&D was brilliant to be that. It's a public library.
Mm.
Anybody can come up with
Real
anything.
quick.
Yeah, you went kind of
You're
robotic.
you're coming in really broken.
Okay. I'm not sure if you're moving around and you accidentally got somewhere
not.
in the. Okay. Well, okay. Could you?
It could be the storm coming in.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could you?
Has it gotten any better?
Yes, much better.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
If you could repeat what you were trying to say.
Sure. The world of D&D is, like I said before, it's a living thing. We're all adding to it. We're all playing it. We're all continuing it. I can tell you about it, but you and your group of friends have to create it. You pick out the world you want to work in, the deities you want to work under, the laws of physics for that whole planet even. It's not something you can just go out and buy. You can get ideas from a book, but you can't buy the game.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't understand. I like having the books. Here's a reference for this monster. It's kind of a way for us to explain the information to someone else.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
get that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like speaking mathematics. It's a way to tell somebody else about the situation you're looking at. So I get it. You talk to somebody about a troll or a mermaid or a centaur, they're going to know what that is.
Yeah, because it's
Unless they've
mythology.
never been exposed to anything like that. And then it's like, oh, here's a picture. Here's its stats. Here's how fast it can run and stuff. Okay, now I totally get it. Centaurs are badass. And so then you have this communication with someone. I do like the books and I do love the artwork. And some of them I have just because the artwork is gorgeous. And I paid for that. That artist, that publisher, that creator of the information in that book got paid because I wanted to pay for their information.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense to me. But what was her brilliant idea that she's just going to own D&D across at minimum, even just the United States?
Yeah.
You're not going to be
Let's
able
see.
to hunt all of those people down
Oh
and tell them they
no.
have to pay her money in order to play. That's not possible.
Yeah,
and
for people who don't play online, definitely not. But
It's not going to be plausible.
yeah.
They
And
have no way to enforce this.
yeah, which I think they kind of realized when 90% of survey respondents are like, no, we're not going to support OGL 1.2.
No,
We're not going to provide any
coffee
creator
shops
support.
go under for dumber stuff than this.
Yeah.
heck, like
They're no longer
we're
going to make strawberry muffins. And the whole coffee shop, everyone's going to talk, the coffee shop's no longer making strawberry muffins. We're going to go somewhere else. And that coffee shop within a month has died, sold the lot to somebody else because they tanked themselves.
Yeah.
And if that's how far they want, they're going to push this, we're all gonna stop going to the same coffee shop then.
Yeah.
But the great
Paizo
thing
sold
is
out of 8 months worth of stock within the 2
uh,
weeks of this whole mess.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
it's also
Call
a
of the
thing of if
Cthulhu said they also almost sold completely out of their own back warehouse stock.
Yeah. Because we're gonna go somewhere else.
Yep.
and the thing is it's not only just we're gonna go somewhere else. Some people are like, you know what? I like the way the coffee shop the way it was, so I'm gonna open my
My
own
own
coffee shop.
and I'm gonna make my own strawberry muffins.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
And that's what a lot of
Kind of
creators
like
are doing too. Us
heck,
too.
that's essentially what
Yeah,
we're doing.
I mean,
For
before
those that are
this
not in the know,
whole debacle blew up all over the internet, we were thinking about making the campaign settings that we're playing into 5e supplements. Now they're going to be part of our own RPG universe.
and not just that, but like with us, Arcasaur tabletop.
Yeah, we're going to make a system
I am
agnostic rule set.
Yeah, I am currently working on myself, with some input from the rest of the team, um, an open role playing system that has no copyright, no license, can be used for anything, and it's just basically a skeletal backbone that you can just essentially almost like plug and play. You just write stuff for it and it'll work, and it's called the Arcasaur Open RPG System.
Yeah.
or Arcasaur Open Role Playing System, or AORPS. Should have that up hopefully in the next week or two,
Well,
on our website.
it at least an alpha version of it.
Yeah.
And people can will be able to freely download it. And I'll have the link to Arcasaur Tabletop on my my Twitter, and there'll be a link down in the description for the video. You know, you guys can for you guys to check out at your leisure on whatever device supports looking at video descriptions, because most TVs don't.
Yeah.
but it just if
They backed down. They threw the entire
Yeah.
SRD 5.1 into Creative Commons, and nobody bothered looking at the document before they did that. So now everybody's talking about making their own version of Count Strahd von Zarovich, because, well, the vampire stat block's in the SRD, and Strahd's name is in the SRD, so they're gonna make there's gonna be a lot of weird versions of Count Strahd all over the internet in the next few months to come.
and
And all they have to do is put, Creative Commons attribution, because that's all that's required.
And then all the comments of, oh, we didn't mean to. Oh, that must have been leaked, or da 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 da. They can't backtrack out of this now.
No, they can't,
Because,
and they
I mean, I'm old enough that I have an emotional connection with playing D&D with my friends.
Yeah,
For the
I think all
20
three of
plus
us
years
are.
And
Before 5e, the last
you
time I
can't
touched it was
emotionally-
like the white box.
Yeah.
Or no,
You can't
it was probably the
emotionally
red
hurt
box.
us and then expect us to be, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgive you, and
Yeah.
and come back to it. It's not happening. It's not
And
it's not gonna happen.
that is how a lot of people feel. They feel very betrayed by the poor stewardship, to use a
Yeah.
wizard's term.
And that's what I was telling
I mean,
you about over the phone was that they're not going to be able to recover from this.
No.
not easily.
They're not going to be able to recover from the emotional damage they've done. We're just going to come up with our own. and we're just gonna go on still playing the fun game with our friends. But I'm not gonna give them a damn penny with
Yep.
what they've done.
Yeah,
And
that
I
is
was telling Scott that it made me so mad, but at the same time so grateful that the creators, the original guys that started this, thank God they're dead.
well, I don't know about Dave Arneson,
Although I'm pretty sure if you
but Gary's family is still very much alive, and one of his family members decided that since Wizards abandoned the TSR trademark to snap it up, just to deliberately make offensive content with it.
Yeah.
To piss off Wizards, and got into some litigation with them.
Which I'm pretty sure if
I
right
have no
about now,
idea how
if
that
you were to take
litigation is going or has gone. Just to be
I'm
clear.
pretty sure that Gary Gygax is turning over in his grave so much and so hard that if you probably dug down that 6 feet and hooked leads up to either end of his casket, that it would actually generate enough energy to power a small city.
Well, either that or he's looking down on us, laughing his ass off at a corporation trying to control the game that he literally said, thank God nobody realized they don't need us. Once the game is out there, they don't need us at all.
We you know, when we started playing again, and I got involved with Arcasaur, I was like, wow, things have changed so much, because the previous time I had played, it was on paper.
Yeah.
You had to have a folder, a file with your character and all of their personal traits, and then another page of just abilities, then another page of just spells, another page or multiples for backstory, and you had to have an entire file for one character. Everything was handwritten. Everything was written in pencil so that you could
erase
and change hit points and stats and stuff. And I was like, holy cow, I love this. It's the same game and it's the same understanding, but it's so much easier to use. And I was like, oh, wow. Because when I first started playing, we had an entire 12-hour session, the 8 of us, just to set up characters.
Yeah.
It was 12 hours worth of work just to set up a character. And now I can throw together one in Shard, which was kind of maybe not such a brilliant idea at 5 a.m. when I was exhausted, and I came up with sentient cheese. So, it takes about 10 minutes.
Yes, one day we must.
All, but that's the awesomeness of the game, is that you are only limited by your imagination.
Yeah.
And I know this sounds really bad, but if you don't have enough imagination to try, then you have book.
You're digitizing again.
Oh. Has it gotten any better?
And then it stops as soon as we acknowledge it.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. I'm not moving. I'm in the same place.
It happens. It happens. It's that storm.
Yeah, it's definitely the storm up where you're
the
at.
The ice storm.
Plus it. I think you're. It's also kind of stormy down here.
Yeah.
So
they were saying you were gonna get
crossing
the freezing rain flood.
It's currently 26 in as international viewers call freedom units. So I'm not quite sure what that, it's in the negatives in Celsius, so I don't know if it's -1 or 2.
Oh, I don't know, it's 15 degrees and snowing here.
Yeah.
But when I drove in, a good portion of the front yard was covered in Canadian geese, all bundled up together in piles, ready to sleep through this. So I was like, oh, this is not going to be very good.
Yeah, if the geese are huddled all together on dry land, yeah, it's definitely not good
They're not.
flying weather. Especially when
It was
they're
so
not.
cool, though, because they made little piles in the snow, like
Yeah.
little sleep piles. So it was funny because they were all shoveling the snow.
And digitizing
It's
again.
back to being digital.
I don't know why.
Yeah, we'll just deal with it. Okay. So
Anyway, sorry,
yeah,
on the weather.
yeah,
But back then, all you needed was a pencil and a piece of paper, and you could, create things to be with your friends. Like
yeah.
I was telling Scott, even if I don't really have a way to do this, I want to play. I haven't played in a while, and I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like you can do all of this over your phone. You
Yep.
can do all of this over your, tablet.
Yep. Virtual
Or
tabletop
yeah, and
is
it's like,
totally
wow,
awesome.
this is cool.
Yeah.
Because then, of course, my brain's going, well, then how are they going to monitor this? A kid in Indiana playing with a kid in Ohio, who's also playing with a kid in,
Yeah, which
I
is
don't
what
know,
they're
Germany.
they're
Yeah, and that is so cool.
yeah.
But how are they going to regulate that?
The
You know?
Yeah, their idea for regulating it was being predatorily anti-competitive with virtual tabletop competitors. And I do
I
mean
guess.
predatory.
But like, I don't think
And
they're really going to recover from this. They've
it
done too much damage, and we've already started making our own muffins or going to other coffee shops. I don't think
yeah,
there's no way that she's going to
it's
get out of this what she
basically
wanted when she started it.
yeah, and I kind of want to be a fly on the wall for their investor call on February
Oh,
16th
that would
because
be good.
I
That
have
would be
a
beautiful.
feeling that Altafox Capital Management is going to rip them a new one with a bunch of I told you so's. Because there was an article of an open letter they put out like 2 years ago saying, we want to change up the board and put on the board of Hasbro people who actually understand the products they're selling.
Yes.
And for them to abandon the moronic Bluepoint 2.0, their crazy monetization schemes for all of their major brands like Magic the Gathering, Wizards' first billion-dollar revenue brand, which they kind of scuppered with last year's 30th anniversary packs, which were reprints of cards on the reserved list, like the Black Lotus, not playable in competition, and like $250 per 6-card pack or something. I think it was a 6-card pack.
Yeah, but
It's
see, with how much they've
$250.
emotionally damaged us, I
Yeah,
don't think anybody's going to go for that either.
yeah.
They're going to stop buying Spider-Mans, and they're going to stop buying the stuff, anything Wizards of the Coast related too.
I mean,
So they've
I
shot
saw
themselves in their own foot.
I saw pics of bad quality control on Peppa the Pig products, and it's like,
Yeah.
and the mom was complaining, how did this get through quality control? It's off center so very much. And all they could respond with was a basic formula of, hey, DM us, we'll see if we can try and make this right. But that's just their media manager, who they don't have any control over product quality. And
Okay,
but that's
there's a
all,
there's
that's literally all their media manager for their Twitter accounts can do, is just try desperately to do damage control for
they're having
their
to do damage control on their own products.
yeah.
With aligning themselves with the D&D community, with the D&D universe, it doesn't
It's
matter how much they're going to backtrack and try to fix Peppa the
yeah, it's
Pigs and
another
Spider-Man's now, because no one's going to go to them, because one, they're making crappy products, so parents aren't happy, kids aren't happy.
their
But now you've pissed
licensors
off the
aren't
parents
happy.
who have played D&D for 35 years.
50.
Yeah.
The game's been around for 50 years. Well,
I just,
starting next
you know,
year, I think next year's the actual 50th anniversary
yeah. But it just,
of the
I've been
original 3
playing for
pamphlets.
35 years.
Yeah.
And now you've pissed me off.
I've
You're
been
going to
playing
take
off
away
and on since I
my,
was 15.
yeah,
And
you're going to take away my peace and joy. You're going to take away my comfort, my happy space. Then I'm not going to buy any more Spider-Mans for my son.
yeah,
We'll
and
go somewhere else. I'm sorry. I'm really mad. I think
yeah,
more than anything, I'm just mad because you don't take a family member and then just throw them under a bus and go, oh, oops, I'm sorry. You did this
yeah.
deliberate.
This is another 4th edition situation for them.
Yep.
And that took them almost 15 years to recover their reputation between 3.5 and 5th edition. But a big part of why 4th edition failed: 1, game system license; 2, the technology really wasn't there for what they wanted to do with 4th edition. They wanted a virtual
Yeah,
tabletop. So I'm
yeah,
thinking they may just move what they were trying to do with 4th edition into what they're now trying to do with the whole 1D&D thing, because the technology's available now. They could actually make this high-level virtual tabletop edition of Dungeons and Dragons.
yeah. But
But
at
the
this point,
problem
no one's going
is,
to buy it
yeah,
now.
no one's going to buy
Yeah.
into it.
No one's gonna play it.
No one's going to play it, and no one's going to buy
It
it because
at
they
least no
pissed
one
off the
over the
parent.
age of like 10. And another reason that a lot of D&D YouTubers and Twitter users are saying that they backed down from this is the movie that's coming out starring Chris Pine.
And I was actually excited for that.
And
I was excited to see Marky freaking Mark as a bard. Like that was
Yes,
going to be hilarious. No.
I
Just
was,
Hasbro has to just stab us in the back repeatedly to
yeah.
where we're done.
yeah,
We're
but
washing our hands of this. We're done.
And how bad this
I'm
is
just gonna say, uh,
I would send I'm sorry letter to Marky Mark because I like him. I like what he does. I like what he brings in imagination to films and movies. I
Yeah,
like
I
Marky
will
Mark,
say
and I
I will
want to
say this
apologize
his
to him of I'm sorry. I really like you, but I can't go see this movie because
yeah.
they pissed me off.
Well, a
yeah,
lot of people are saying, the best way to hurt Hasbro but still support the movie, don't see it on opening weekend, don't see it on the 2nd, see it on like the 4th or 5th weekend. if it's still in theaters, because the theaters will make most of the money. Paramount will get their cut, and from that, Wizards gets a pittance at a maximum. And there are other people who are like, yeah, I'm just going to wait until it comes out on streaming services, which, because it's a Paramount movie, it's only going to come out on Paramount Plus. And that could be 6-8 months from box office weekend.
Screw that. I'm just gonna buy it like digitally, just at like a digital download type thing.
Yeah, you could also buy it on Xbox, but I have a feeling Wizards would actually get more of a cut from it. I'm
Okay,
pretty
then
sure.
I'll buy it from a used bin at a bookstore. I don't care.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, don't go see the movie. I'm saying it's personal decision. See how you feel in April when the movie actually comes out. But just don't see it on opening weekend. When, the theater makes the least amount of money off of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
See it when the theater is going to make the most amount of money off of it. Though I kind of doubt it's going to stay in theaters for 10 weeks if nobody sees it in week 1 or week 2, because, well, that's just a waste of money on the theater's part to keep it.
Yeah. But like I said, across the board, everything that they've got that they want to put in motion or that they're trying to fix to put in motion now,
Yeah.
it's almost pointless to try because you've pissed off enough people. You've pissed off enough people that care about this living, breathing thing that it doesn't matter what they do in the future now.
Yeah,
Because
it's
no
gonna.
one's gonna go. No one's gonna buy it. No one's gonna give in and here's my 5 cents for your product.
Yeah.
Because we can get it somewhere else. Or we can make it ourselves with just a piece of paper and a pencil.
Yeah. So in 2038, they might have sufficiently repaired their reputation. Because that's what it took for him for fourth edition.
They can hope.
Yeah, either that or
then.
Darrington Press will have bought WotC from Hasbro for a pittance.
Yes.
Because personally, I think Travis Willingham would be a better steward than any of the C-suites currently at Wizards.
Oh, yeah.
The other mildly annoying thing that happened on the Twitterverse was when Critical Role released their statement. Because it was so neutral, you could just tell they were buried under NDAs and contracts. And there were some people who recognized that, and some people who started hating on them for it. But most people have now realized, they were buried under NDAs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can completely understand being under an NDA, and with their group, with Critical Role as a whole, since they work so closely with a lot of content, a lot of stuff from Wizards of the Coast,
Mm-hmm.
they're probably under so much legal obligation that they really can't say anything. Otherwise, their company would just completely go under.
Well,
And I don't want to
or
see that
just
happen.
get buried in litigation, which, yeah, nobody's really nobody in the TTRPG space is really individually big enough to take on Hasbro.
Yeah, and with Critical Role, I think that they would be the closest to being big enough,
No,
but they're still
right
not
now
big enough.
Paizo is the biggest rival in
No,
the.
I'm saying as far as creator groups go, as far as like
Yeah,
smaller companies outside of
outside of
Paizo.
Paizo, yeah, Critical Role's probably pretty close to the top, just because
So
Matt Mercer and
yeah,
all
and
famous
I'll
voice actors. So let's go on to something a little more happy now. And talk
you got
about.
all the frustrations out.
Well, hopefully, because
Mostly.
yeah.
I'm so mad
Okay,
at him.
so um, I I was talking about Mythica being the best way to watch it is to watch it as a set of simul campaigns by two DMs. So did you look at like the synopsis on them?
Nope.
Okay, you haven't looked at anything on them.
Nope.
You care about spoilers?
Um,
Actually, no.
Okay, so the two.
and by the by, for those who want to watch Mythica and not be spoiled on it, go on ahead and stop now. Watch all 6 or 7 movies and then come
There's
back.
5.
Okay, 5. All 5 movies and then come back. By the by, the I'm not trying to be rude.
They're
The
like.
cheese is palpable. It's great. It's a wonderful, wonderful movie. Set of
It's a
movies.
movie. It's a movie franchise. There's only 5.
Yeah.
There's not 7. There's only 5.
it's
There are 5
great.
movies. It's on
This
Amazon
is a
Prime
film
for.
series?
Yeah, it's a film franchise.
Okay.
Yeah, it's starring Matthew Mercer and Kevin Sorbo.
Kevin Sorbo.
Yes,
I like
they
Kevin Sorbo.
Matthew and Kevin are the two DMs. That's the way you have to look at it. They are the DMs running this simul campaign. Matthew's running the evil campaign, while Kevin's running the good guys campaign,
Yeah,
or at least the
it's
neutral
fantastic.
good campaign side of it. Because one of the PCs, it's like, yeah, the player had to drop out of the campaign, so they turned her character into an NPC goddess.
So this is like a D&D campaign.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that is the
Um,
when we first watched it was okay. This is a high fantasy movie. Then me and Scott were watching it, and it's like, no, this is a D&D campaign. You can tell it's a D&D campaign.
Yeah, because I mean, it's one of those things that you're literally watching it, and it's like you can hear in your back of the back of your head. All right, I go on ahead and target this guy, and I'm gonna target this guy and hit him with this spell, and then they roll and it misses. So it's like you see the character in the movie just raise their hand and the shot goes wide, and it's like, yeah, crap, I rolled a 1.
No,
How did I never hear of this? See, this is the problem of being a working mother. By the time work is over, I'm too dead to figure out anything else, and it's just laundry, food, dishes, and then I pass out.
yeah, no. It's been a few years
December
since
of
we watched them.
2014.
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
it's been out for a while.
all I can say is if you ever liked the series The Adventures of Hercules, starring Kevin Sorbo, um, then you'll actually enjoy it a lot because it's almost the same type of not scripting style, but
The level of camp.
the level of camp, yeah.
It is campy.
It feels more like one of those like campy early 90s straight to TV movies, and it's not bad at all. I actually enjoyed it very much, and I actually want to, even though Deanna says no, that would be a bad idea. We'd get sued. I'm like, no. What we do is we basically just, have all of us watch the movie and then record like as if we're playing as the characters. And
No,
then
I still say that is a terrible idea. I really don't want to
well,
do a riff track of it.
but basically save that as like an MP3, and it's like, okay, when it gets to this certain point at the start of the movie, just start up the MP3 and just let it run. And it'd be like MST3K, but it's role playing based, and that would be hilarious. But
I still
that's
say
the way I see
there
the movie in my head.
I still think there's like serious licensing issues, even if we released it for free.
Okay,
Yeah.
where can I watch this?
Amazon Prime.
Prime?
Yeah, if
Yep.
if you have an Amazon Prime account, it'd be free to watch.
I do.
Yes.
It is,
Dun,
it
dun,
is
dun.
fantastic. It is fantastic.
Oh, it also says it's streaming on Peacock. I don't have Peacock,
Yeah,
but
I just know about the Amazon
Amazon,
Prime.
awesome.
I know about the Amazon Prime because I have Prime. And yeah, when we watched it, it was a few years ago, but we've watched the entire franchise, and it honestly it's great as long as you're thinking about it as this is a D&D campaign. Kevin Sorbo is one DM and Matthew Mercer is the other. But Matthew is definitely running the
The
evil campaign.
complete set for $22 at Walmart on DVD.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Okay.
Dude,
That's
I
cool
might just
too.
do that.
Yeah.
We might do that as well.
Okay.
Come on, Walmart, open.
I believe that
The complete
anybody who
collection, $22.56.
Huh.
I believe that anybody who wants to watch this movie, I think this should become a cult classic. It needs to, because
I
it is
think
just so great.
yes,
Especially
it
like
is. It's
my
totally an
favorite story.
awesome.
My favorite story arc out of that whole thing, like there's this one guy that's kind of an elf douchebag thief, or half elf douchebaggy thief, but
He's a rogue.
he has a rogue, but he ends up becoming a pretty good guy in the end. But my favorite story arc was the failed guard captain that he basically is constantly getting drunk, has a whole bunch of life problems, and by the end of the series, he becomes a paladin.
Yes,
This upstanding,
Whoa.
super awesome
paladin
dude.
with an oath of devotion. Now,
Yeah, and
remember how I said one of the PCs, her player had, it seemed like she had to drop out of the campaign, and so they decided to make her a goddess. Yeah, he becomes a paladin for her.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. Like his character arc
I just can't
is
tell
just
if he's
so great.
I'm thinking Oath of I can't remember if it was if he seemed more like Oath of Devotion Paladin or
I'm pretty sure it's Oath of Devotion because throughout that
yeah,
that
there was
section of the
kind of
series,
hints
while
of
she was still a
romance to her.
character, he while he was while she was still not a goddess and just in the campaign, he fell in love with her.
Yeah.
And then some circumstances happen and she ends up essentially like dying, but doesn't really die. She ends up becoming this like minor goddess, and
Well,
so he devotes
Avatar
his
of the
life to but he devotes his life to her. And like he starts like after that point, it's like he goes to attack some evil undead enemy, and every single attack he makes is just exploding with light, and it's like, oh, he's a paladin now. Yes.
Yep. Goes from being a fighter goes from a soldier background, champion fighter, multi-classes into an Oath of Devotion paladin.
Yeah, so seriously, watch the movie. It is fantastic. I couldn't tell you how much
Yeah, I
I
can't remember
love
if
it because it's just
that was
oh
the fourth or fifth movie where he finally becomes like this oath of devotion paladin.
yeah, but it's fantastic when it happens.
She
Seriously,
started out as the cleric for the team.
and Matthew Mercer, like his role in the movie,
He
or his
is,
role in the series, he is the bad guy, like the titular BBEG, and he
yes,
plays it so well. I mean,
yeah,
like everybody,
No.
and I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
rude about everybody's acting, but it's like, you know, all of these like quote unquote B-list actor type feel to all these characters. It's like, yeah, you can see them in a movie, but like they're not really that dialed in. And then you have Matthew Mercer, and he's got command presence,
Awesome.
like
yeah,
like you
and
it's
Kevin
it's
Sorbo's
fantastic.
role in the movie, he really plays the role. He's taking it seriously. So that's why I was
Yeah,
saying
I mean
that, you know, they're
all
the
the actors,
DMs.
yeah, all the actors and actresses, they're taking their roles seriously, but it's just they're not 100% dialed in. You can tell, not that they're phoning it in, but you can tell that it's not like the
They're,
best work.
it's not the
But
best fit for the actors. Though I would say the
yeah,
rogue works.
yeah,
He
the rogue worked just fine. So did the former guard captain turned paladin. His works too. Oh, also interesting little factoid. The guy that plays Hodor from
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. I was like,
yeah,
Kristen
it
Maier's in this.
yeah,
Yeah, and I
he's in
like
it.
him.
He's in it. And you know, they've actually pulled a lot of big names.
Yeah, I've seen
yeah,
a lot of really great actors in here.
But the titular actors that are in the mainstay of the story,
yeah. The main
it it
characters are
it kind of
they
has
are
that like
unknowns.
campy Saturday morning or campy Saturday afternoon straight to TV show feel. Um, but when it gets to anything with Kevin Sorbo, anything with Matthew Mercer, anything with the guy that played Hodor, I don't remember his name, but I just know him as Hodor. Um, you know,
Hold the
when
door.
they get on screen, like you can tell this just they have this presence of how they portray the characters, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, and the young
Absolutely
lady
love it.
that's the main character for the
Uh-huh.
franchise, she does really good, because
Yeah,
the character she's playing is essentially she's playing a warlock,
yep.
Okay.
and she is tempted by the dark side, known as Matthew
Oh,
Mercer.
lovely.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, but
Matthew
no,
Mercer and a cursed artifact,
it is
and
freaking
she
fantastic.
fights
Just
it off, and
if and I'm sorry for
it's
interrupting.
totally it's a good franchise.
Yeah, I would honestly say if you can't get it on Amazon Prime, if you don't have an Amazon Prime and you don't want to get Amazon Prime to watch it,
I found it at
um,
Walmart.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say, go and buy it because I seriously like I've watched it. And, I'm sorry for peeking. I've watched it multiple times myself.
I've
So
only watched the
it's
franchise
highly
the
worth a
once, so you didn't watch it again with me,
no. I watched it on my own.
jerk.
Um, but it's just like it is worth the rewatch. There are some minor details like after you watch it through the first time, almost like other
Kind of
interesting
like
movies,
what
really good movies.
rewatching this Sixth Sense.
Yeah,
After you watch it the
you start
first time, you start
you start
noticing the
noticing things.
cues.
Yes. You
Oh,
start
that sounds
noticing little things. And so I suggest watching it, at the very minimum twice. But
Each movie.
but
So that's
if
total 10 watch throughs of the movies.
yep, if it were up to me, like seriously, if it were up to me and I could actually like get a group of friends over, and we do this like once a year type thing, I would love to have just a like a watch party where we just watch all 5 movies back to back and just basically just have a party and have fun. Kind of like how people do Rocky Horror Picture Show or those other like cult classic movies like The Room. Um,
Mm.
but yeah,
The Room's not really a cult classic. It's more like,
it's a cult train wreck.
yeah, it's more of a train wreck that you just.
You
It,
just
it,
can't stop watching it.
it's like, how did this manage to get made?
Oh no, it managed to get
It's
made because of Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau, who no one can identify his national origins, not even Tommy.
Yeah,
We're
not
we're
even Tommy, and that's
we're
himself.
pretty sure he's a U.S. citizen by birth, but yeah, no one's entirely sure about him.
Though I still always like the whole thing of him just kicking the door open and going, "That is bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not." And he like throws this water bottle, and it looks over. No, looks over past the counter and goes, "Oh, hi, Mark," and it's like he just was not ticked off at all, and just walks over.
Yes,
It's like,
which is
what?
why uh yeah, it's a train wreck, and we still haven't actually watched the whole movie. We've only
Yeah,
seen the clips the nostalgia critic posted,
yeah.
and he's the reason that it is a cult train wreck. We can all blame him.
So, yeah.
Well, I definitely will be checking it out between now and our next um,
Table talk. Yeah,
togetherness.
yeah.
So yes, I can't believe I've missed that. Like
No,
I
well,
said,
Well, I was
kind of
just
end up
I
in
was
this
like,
routine of work and then dishes and then work and then unconsciousness.
yeah,
So I haven't gotten to do. If I am able to get involved with something, I literally have to set
yeah. Sit down.
alarms and
Yeah,
schedules that say on this date at this time I am going to be involved with this.
yeah.
So
I'd say if you can, uh, get Kale to watch it with you.
okay.
I think he'd like it, especially if you tell him that the perspective he should be watching it from is as a D&D campaign.
Awesome.
Because that is the you'll get the most enjoyment out of it watching it as a D&D campaign.
Okay.
Because I can
And
honestly
what
say, like,
once we
I started watching it. We watched the first episode, the first movie, and it was like, well, this is okay. I mean, it could have been done better, but let's go on to the second one and see if it's any better. And the second one's the same. That's when it clicked. This is like watching a live play of D&D, just
yeah,
without all the people talking, and all you see is the characters themselves doing stuff.
yeah,
And that
Yeah.
completely changed the movie. Then we watched the first movie over, and it made a whole lot more sense.
yeah. And I don't know, it was like 3-4 years ago when I watched it. So, yeah, this is coming from the back of the brain. So that's why there's not like any detailed spoilers we'll go with.
Yeah,
Cuz
yeah.
yeah, it's been a while since the last time I saw it.
For a
And
while.
now what would be very funny is if a bunch of people see our video and embarrass Matthew on Twitter for the movie.
Yes.
I think that might
But Matthew Mercer's like one of the highlights of that movie.
Oh yes, he totally
Like
is.
total highlight. He killed it. It was amazing.
Yeah, he's both the DM for the evil campaign and he's the big bad evil guy for the good guys campaign. And so it's great. But yeah, I think probably the only reason we'll get more than like 20 views is because we're coming in right on the whole aftermath of everything with the
With
1.1
Watsy.
yeah, and the wizard's mess.
Yep.
And there so let's see. We've gone on for about 45 minutes longer than I expected to.
Yep.
So, I might break this up into two things. I don't know. Probably not. Nah, I'm not going to. There are people
make them listen to the whole thing uncut.
No, I think I'll I don't know. Maybe. Okay, now there was one group I wanted to mention that I thought these guys are great creators and I really like watching their stuff. It's Dungeon Master Therapy, the Cantrip Crew. Their stuff's honestly really funny. And right in the middle of this whole thing, they posted, a link to their website with a little from a little short they did. The everything's on fire sale.
Yeah.
Is what they called it.
In all honesty, you should link that in the description of this video.
I'm gonna link their website, and I mean, even if the stuff's not on sale at this point, I think you guys, I think they still, they totally deserve support. Let's see.
Yeah, all I can say is, there's a podcast group that I listen to that they always say it, at the beginning of their videos, when they're like, check out our Patreon, this, that, and the other. They're like, make sure to support what you love, or it goes away.
Yes. Yeah, we've got to support each other.
So we've got to do that. It's not just a thing of, oh, we're in it for the money. No, we're in it for the community.
Yeah.
If there's no support, there's no community.
I mean, a small part of me would be extremely excited to see my art design on a hoodie on a person walking downtown. That would make me so excited.
Yeah, well, the thing
But I
is
truly
that
don't
is a
care.
possibility, but it all depends upon if that person goes to arcasaurrt.com and goes over to our merch store.
I know. There's a small part of me that's
Yeah,
like, I don't really care about the money. I do want to keep our server going so we get to keep doing this.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be a billionaire. I just want to have fun in this community and seeing what they're contributing to the story and enjoying what we're contributing to the story and just being a part of this really fun universe.
Yeah.
And there's no way that they're going to kill this.
No, there is no possibility.
There's no way. They don't have a way to enforce the amount that has happened in the past 50 years. There's no way.
Yeah, and
so
well,
the royalties,
their bad royalty scheme was only supposed to take effect starting in 2024.
Yeah.
And once that exploded all over the Twitter sphere, and and creators outside of tabletop gaming started picking it up because,
Yeah.
I mean, even Legal Eagle tried doing a sort of high level overview of the legal side of what was going on. And his take was I'll go with interesting. There were because some D&D creators were like, yeah, the podcast he recommended listening to, their take was really Wizards biased. But I haven't listened to the podcast, so I can't be entirely sure of those other creators' accuracy on that take.
But I just there's in
And
my
for a
personal
lot of
opinion,
people,
they're not going to
this
be able to kill D&D. It's not
no,
going to just
there's
disappear.
no way.
It's just we're not going to give money to Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, I mean, I posted a response to some of the stuff on Twitter, and I was like, D&D's like Linux. Wizards is just one distro. If they're going to be toxic, we'll move away to other distros.
I'll just cut them out of my life.
Yeah, and it's like, they'll have to re-earn the trust of people. And yeah, the new movie, it probably will bring people in. Their problem is tabletop role players are not the same as video game role players.
Yeah.
Even if there's overlap, it's not the same. Tabletop is a round robin storytelling game. It requires human social interaction. And there's a group of creators in Europe who are trying to get the European Union to recognize tabletop RPG design as a valid university level study course. Because
awesome.
Yeah, and I would totally support those guys. I think that is true. Tabletop RPG design, it's something that should be taught in school. It's as valid a form of artistic expression as video game design, and that's taught in universities and colleges. So, yeah, it should totally be taught.
The cool thing about...
Because it impacts psychology. It impacts, social interaction.
For me, the cool thing about tabletop role-playing games, or role-playing games in general that are pen and paper, is that...
That's the same thing.
It's not just a social experiment. It's not just a...
Well, no, it's not an experiment. It is an experience.
But it's not just a social experience. When a person writes a story, and I've written some short stories in my time. When a person writes a story, they have all the information: the beginning, the middle, the end, and everything in between. How everybody acts, how everybody reacts, how everybody does their intricate pieces and parts. As a dungeon master myself, the only thing I know is how I want the story to begin, how the story will end. Everything in the middle is left up to the dice
and the players.
It's a story that's written as it's going.
Yeah, that's why I said
not even the author knows what's going to happen.
Well, that's why I said it's a round robin.
Don't even know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we managed to completely derail you with just me and TS.
Yeah,
because you thought we were finishing the campaign. Nope.
There's actually there's actually one thing of you can have a character that you've already planned on, how they're gonna affect the ending of the game, and how their story is gonna intricately weave into certain portions of the game, or certain portions of the story, and then they die. That's happened with me on a couple of occasions. That's happened with Matthew Mercer. Campaign 2, the Mighty Nine. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it.
Or who's
There's
planning on
one,
watching it on Amazon.
yeah, there's one point where there was a titular character that Matthew Mercer had as the crux of the main end plot that
Yeah. Yeah.
died. And
Mm-hmm.
when that character, I'm not going to say who it is, but when that character died, Matthew Mercer, he didn't have to scramble, but he was like, oh crap. And he had to essentially redo the end of his campaign
Yeah.
because that one intricate character died. And that was all due to the roll of the dice. That was all due to how certain enemies would react to certain stimuli.
Yeah.
Instead of letting that character go into death rolls, they were like, nope, he would go on ahead and finish it. Since you spat in his face, insulted him to his face, this, that, and the other, he'll just straight up kill you. And that's what that enemy character did. And it
Yeah.
changed the entire story.
Mm-hmm.
From that point on, it changed the entire story. So again, this is a storytelling experience.
Yeah, that's why I
Where
said
not even
it's
the
a
author of the story knows how it's gonna go.
That's
yeah.
why I said it's a living, breathing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It is built by the minutes that you and your friends are playing. And then your campaigns with her campaigns, with his campaigns, with their campaigns on the other side of the planet. So the universe of this, it's not going to die. We're
Oh
just going
no.
to rename it, reface it, but we're not
Repackage
going to
it.
be able to live without it now. It's just we're going to repackage it in a way that Hasbro's going to eat their own farts.
Yep. Yep.
Because
Oh no,
I
I
ain't
agree.
giving the
No,
red
no
cent to
laughing. I
them.
agree.
I'm trying to make it, PG as I
PG.
can. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
I'm mad.
we're past the YouTube algorithm censor, so that's only like the first 15 seconds of the video.
Still to
Okay.
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
it
yeah.
relatively PG.
Maintain the possibility of future monetization, because we have no subscribers at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, we might by the time the video's done with, after
But
uploading it.
oddly enough, on our podcast, we do have listeners in Germany for some reason.
I know. I think that is so cool.
Yeah,
Anywho,
and eventually I will get campaign 1.5 and campaign 2 posted up here on YouTube, and I'm thinking about also posting this on Rumble, and maybe eventually setting up like a locals account for people who want to support us outside of purchasing merch. But yeah, definitely I am going to include a link to the Cantrip crew, because they need support. They're working on a new campaign book, and they've said they've, at least for right now, they're delaying it until we've got a really high level understanding of the fallout of this whole OGL debacle.
Yeah.
And that's how it is for a lot of third party creators. I mean, we're delaying even setting up our campaign setting for campaign 2, and what we're doing right now with campaign 3.
Yeah.
And, releasing our the subclasses and races that we've used in these campaigns.
They don't have a plausible way to reinforce this. They don't. There's not
a
way
lot of the
that they can
clauses they put in for
control it.
1.1 were just, they were so so, well, 1.1 had unenforceable clauses, the license back BS, and it wasn't the fact that they wanted a royalty on third-party creator content, it was the amount.
Yeah.
And there was the confirmation from Kickstarter that, yeah, those amounts were real. And those amounts were astronomically tone deaf on Wizards' part. Because Wizards, it does book publishing, like, regular fiction novel book publishing. They know what royalty contracts are supposed to look like. From what I've been able to tell, a 5% royalty to the author of the work from the publishing company, that is the upper high limit of a royalty.
Yeah, not 25% of total gross profit.
Yeah. No, gross revenue, not profits.
Or gross revenue, sorry, not profit, revenue, yeah.
Yeah, gross revenue. 25% of gross revenue. Or 20% if you put your project up on Kickstarter. And that's like, no. That's extortionate.
Yeah, like I said,
that's unsustainably extortionate.
Hungry little weasel.
Yeah.
And
like, the fact that a lot of the internal leaks from employees are like, yeah, this one exec, he despises D&D Beyond. He hated the fact that Wizards of the Coast bought it. He still does. It's like, why?
I don't know.
But no, they have to let go 15% of their workforce, not slash by 75% their upper exec salaries to keep the workforce. Because that wouldn't hurt the execs. They'd still be making millions of dollars. Multiple millions of dollars. They'd be making NFL level money, even slashing their salaries by 75%. They'd still be making NFL levels of money.
But why?
The greedy
I don't understand that. Why? For monetary things that you can tell others that you have. Because when they're dead, they can't take it with them.
No.
When they're dead, their family that manages to get a hold of it is going to do with it whatever they want. So it's they're doing this much damage, this much betrayal
because they don't understand the product.
Something that already works. They're already making money, but to grasp for things that they can't even take with them. Why? I don't get it.
No one can fathom the minds of mad men and women.
Yeah.
Money is not worth that.
Yeah.
Money is not worth that. My brain just went blank. But that real famous dog that started the Iditarod for
Balto.
yeah, him and his crew did all of that in that horrible weather to go get medicine, and now it's held every year
In honor of him, yeah.
for a dog. That means something. That is a legacy. That is a story. That is a purpose that's going to go on for years and years and years after his death.
And it
Because he
has.
achieved something.
By the by,
And it's a story about a dog. I don't even know this woman's name, and I hate her guts. And I don't even plan to whenever this goes completely south and people are fired, people are let go, whatever, we'll never know what happened to them, and we won't care what happened to them, because their story that they were trying to push was about money. They didn't help or grow the story in any way. So what was the point of this? Sorry. I slipped right back into mad.
Yeah.
We all are. So, yeah. Quite the discussion, huh?
Yeah.
Your 15-minute discussion is an hour success.
more like over an hour and a half.
What's time?
Yeah, it happens. Okay, yeah, I think this is where we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Next time we do one of these, maybe it'll be something happier going on in gaming, or we'll talk about some other fun things. Actually, research some additional topics, maybe some other TTRPG companies that.
That sounds good. Because the more we can talk and promote,
Yeah,
these other family groups. I mean, I consider us a family group. We're a group of friends that play D&D, but
well, considering four of us are kind of related.
Well, that's true. But
out of the 6 people in our group, though TS's parents have asked us to adopt him more.
Promote,
Mm-hmm.
Then the more we can keep this universe going, and the
Yeah.
more we can keep this alive.
Yeah, I'd say it's more a multiverse at this point.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But then again, it's always been a multiverse.
Yeah.
And let's see, Mike Merle said he didn't think he could watch a D&D movie that didn't take itself seriously. Every time they've tried making a D&D movie that took itself seriously, it flopped hard.
Oh no! Gosh, we don't even take our sessions seriously most of the time.
I don't think any D&D group does. Not completely.
Have Cheese and Mighty Mouse. How serious do you think this is gonna go?
Not very. But I've got a whole bunch more one-shot things thanks to Kobold Press's Project Black Flag.
Okay.
I signed up to get access to their playtest. It's going to be happening in sometime. I think they said sometime February.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And there's
the more we can promote the others of us that have created a story, and then more people can use it.
Yeah. And Paizo,
like me, I'm not good at coming up with the story. I'm good as a participation of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not very good at creating a story, creating a planet. So
yeah,
the
one
more
of these days I need to
the better.
I really need to find my old campaign world, because I came up with a bunch of stuff.
I've got characters out the wazoo. I have no planet to put them on.
I have a planet I came up with, and I took part of the map inspiration because I for some reason I couldn't figure out how to draw the bottom of the map, so I took part of someone else's map from a different fantasy world and used that for the bottom of the map.
Yeah.
And then you both know me and how much I talk about it. I have like 3
6.
other worlds in the that are either in the works or ready to go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And we won't get to them for the next 15 years. Because it takes us 3 years just to get through one.
Well,
So
It's like I'll be 90 listening on the phone for you to eventually say we've reached dust.
I don't think it's gonna take that long.
It better not.
Oh man. Alright, so yeah. For anyone who made it this far, you guys are totally awesome. And like and if you think that, you know, this is the kind of stuff you want to listen to, feel free to subscribe, hit notification bells, you know, all that retention
Wonderful
stuff,
YouTubitis.
algorithm weirdness on whatever platform you're watching on. And feel free to share this with whoever you want, even Matt Mercer. I don't care.
And also, if you
I would love him to comment on the video. So yeah,
if you're also like me, I work nights, and so a lot of times I'm alone in the dark, and it's nice just to listen to something. And so our podcasts are available.
yeah, we've got it up on Spotify and other places where
Yeah.
podcasts are available. But you'll be able to get to our podcast through our website, which, like I said, is going to be linked down below in the description. And yeah, thanks for listening to us ramble on about
Random.
Watsy.
nothing much of anything.
So mad. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Nah,
for
nah,
being mad.
you're fine.
You're
All
good.
right, so keep on adventuring, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Oh no, wrong thing.
I'm sorry. I did get a little carried away. I'm sorry.
Nah, no, I gotta stop recording now. Doing it now. Whoopsie, little outtake. All right, yes, stop recording.